Boo! Welcome to the first episode. This is the first fuck
The first
first
episode.
episode. Reboot. Let's
Start
go.
over.
Seventh episode of the Sungoku Satsu Film Club podcast. Last week or 2 days ago,
How
actually.
long have I been here for?
2 days ago, we watched Ghost in the Shell. And today I went to my sister's boyfriend's what was it? Birthday party. That's
mitzvah.
all I
Bar
yeah
mitzvah.
almost bar mitzvah. He got to drink for the first time, so he became an alcoholic. It's like a strange
As you
type
do.
of bar mitzvah.
So
Anyway,
it's a rite of passage at that point,
rite of
right?
passage. Anyway, before I pass it on to the next person on the list, who is Connor, I'm going to bring out the fact that the Oklahoma City Thunder is 1 point ahead of the Indiana Pacers right now. Okay,
Oh
Connor.
no, we're like 1 point behind. I'm pretty sure at
No, we're ahead
halftime.
right now.
Oh, now we're ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, third
'cause
quarter just
halftime
started.
I
All right,
can't
Connor.
wait to watch the city burn down.
It probably will.
No, it definitely will. Sorry, what am I doing?
Your thing.
Which thing?
The quote and what you did today.
Oh, that wizard came from the moon, and today I have done a lot of nothing. Well, that's not true. Last night, Ladnie and I went stargazing, and we finished that. We were leaving at about 12:30.
Yep. So
In the
technically,
morning.
we did that
That is.
today.
Technically, we did that today, and then we made it back just past 2, I think. And then I noticed that a couple of my buddies who I've been playing Dune Awakening with were online, so we all hopped in and did some raiding up until server shut down at 5. I decided I would watch the sunrise, which happened at 6:17 this morning. And then I went to bed and slept until about 12:30 when a friend of mine called me, so we spent probably 2 hours sitting and talking on the phone. And then I began physics homework. I stopped to play a couple games with Caleeb and our friend Polecat, and then I began physics homework again, and now I'm here.
All right. The Thunder currently has 52 points, and Caleeb.
Well, my line was also that wizard came from the moon. And I said it first before Connor, originally before we started. So Connor actually has to propose to me now. So
You only said it first because I let you say it first. Should be noted.
They're still
we're
gonna
still
get
on the
gay
same
married,
wavelength.
though.
That's true.
Anyways, yesterday did a whole lot of nothing until at 1 I went and played D&D for 8 hours straight, and it was phenomenal.
What'd you do today?
Today, whole lot of nothing
Yeah.
until I went and got some dumplings with some buddies of mine for dinner, and then now I'm here.
All right. The Thunder is currently at 3 points ahead of the Pacers, and
I
Keaton-
swear to God, if we're getting a Thunder update they just scored.
we're
a
5
three.
points over, actually.
Oh no,
Keaton.
mine just no.
What'd you do today? And also, what's your quote?
My quote?
Yeah, your ghost quote.
Boo! I
What'd
got
you
you.
do today?
Was a pretty
What I
scary
do
ghost.
today?
Yeah.
I scared the hell out of you. That's what I did.
He makes a solid point.
He does make a solid point. All right. So 2 days ago, like I said, we watched Ghost in the Shell. Let's read the Wikipedia article for it. Ghost in the Shell is a 1995 adult animated Japanese tech-noir cyberpunk action thriller film. What the fuck? Directed by Mamoru Ooshi and with a screenplay by Kazunori Ito. The film is based on the 1989 manga to 1990 manga of the same name by Masamune Shiro. It stars the voices of Atsuko Tanaka, Akio Otsuka, Iematsu Kayumi, and it also it is a British, Japanese British international co-production between Koanshida, Bandai Visual, and Manga Entertainment, with animation provided by Production IG. The film is set in 2029 in the fictional Newport City and follows Major Motoko Kusanagi, a cyborg public security agent who hunts an enigmatic hacker/ghost known as the Puppet Master. The narrative incorporates philosophical themes that focus on self and identity in a technologically advanced world. The music, composed by Kenji Kawai, includes vocals in classical Japanese. The film's visuals were created through a combination of traditional cell animation and CGI animation. So, this was Connor's pick. As you remember, if you listened to the last episode, me. So, okay, how does this start? we want to talk about before we do we want to talk about anything about the
We
movie
gotta
before
tell
we
you,
get in?
we're gonna talk about the assassination that happens off rip,
Well, yeah,
and that little dinky 22 that
that's
punched a hole right into our hearts,
the little no
and that guy's head.
no, not his head, his whole chest cavity.
Yeah.
uh,
It's 22, by the way.
tiny little pistol obliterates the dude. All right,
Had it coming.
he had it coming. Um, all right, so Connor remembers the plot a lot better than I will, so I'm gonna let him start it out. Also, the Thunder is currently still 5 points ahead of the Pacers.
Okay. Is this just what our gimmick is for the rest of this?
Yes,
Is
this
the
is the
Thunder
basketball
is
episode.
okay. We should
I
have
don't
watched
care that
something.
much.
I don't think anybody cares that much. But
That's the
okay.
joke.
That is a joke for sure.
Care more
Okay,
about
so
fucking
the
hockey.
plot?
Yeah.
Let me think. Where do we begin? So what was it? First they established the year's 2029. The opening card is really interesting because they talk about how we've made huge advancements in cybernetic technology, but not too far that nation states don't exist anymore and shit like that. So people are still people, right?
Yep.
They also established that there is a ghost, which is the consciousness inhabiting a body, right? In terms of the cyber brain, which is what the computer people have. They have the ghost, which is effectively your soul, and then the shell, which is the body.
Body of Christ.
The
Jesus.
body of Christ, Jesus. That's what this is about. We actually watched Eva, and here we are to discuss it.
We are currently
but
considering doing an Evangelion side series.
just to watch it so that we can discuss the theology associated with it. Anyway, do I want to just read the plot for the wiki?
You could.
That might
you-
make it easier.
I mean, it would
I'll
be better.
summarize.
Yeah, summarize so that way it's not just us reading Wikipedia article for the whole episode.
That's fair. So they introduce Major, or whatever the hell her actual name is, but they don't really
Matoko.
refer to her as anything other than Major in the movie. So we're not going to refer to her as anything other than Major here.
And naked
She
lady.
she is assigned a mission to assassinate the I don't know who it
He's
was,
like a
just a diplomat of a foreign
yeah.
country, to prevent a programmer from defecting, right?
And
From
like there's
revealing their secrets and whatnot.
crazy opening line, right? Where they're running like the diagnostics on like her, cybernetic system and whatever. And the guy who's checking on her goes, there's a lot of thoughts running through your head right now. You're right. She goes, I'm on my period. Like that explains
She
anything.
does, and it was fucking phenomenal.
Why do you even have a
But
menstrual cycle if you've got a fully
if
robot
you're
body?
a robot,
Yeah.
But
It should
so
also be pointed out that the Major is literally just a brain with a fabricated body around it.
this is true. But the assassination goes well. They establish that the guy has diplomatic immunity, and then she effectively goes, "Not from me, bitch," and then she blows up his head.
It's just
with
been
the
revoked.
22
No, it's not his
pistol.
head. It's his entire
Again,
his
ribcage.
entire
Like
torso.
slits
Yeah,
open.
it's everything.
And
But
it's brutal. It's cool as hell.
they eventually it's kind of weird, the jump there, but it connects back into the main part where they find that there's been a programmer who was or not a programmer, the interpreter was what they call ghost hacked, which is when somebody remotely takes control of your mind, right?
You're a ghost.
Which is where they
You have to have
effectively,
cybernetic.
your soul rather.
Yeah.
But they, think this guy is called the puppet master, not the perpetrator. He has the most basic name,
The bad guy.
basic name known to man.
It's the
John
Um,
bad guy.
and John Bad Guy, the puppet master. And so they introduce this guy who is the puppet master question mark by depicting this guy in a garbage van who is riding around town using effectively phone booths to I don't know
hacking.
exactly
He's like
what
he's
he was
using
doing.
like some kind of
He
like
was
credit.
making phone calls and sending a virus or
He's like
something.
yeah,
I'm
he's like
not
using a
entirely
credit
sure.
card to like hack into people and shit like that. And it's like
Something like
slided
that.
across, but like but we forgot to point out that the greatest elevator ever created. Because
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a
it's
scene
an
where they're having
entire-
they're doing an exposition
some
dump.
dude's office.
Yeah, some guy's
as well.
office is just an elevator on like the side
The
of a high
public
rise.
elevator.
Yeah, it's
Like his office is in the corner. It's got like a little potted plant, and the rest of it is an elevator. So we're like, I mean, it sucks because people are constantly walking into your office, but at the same time, you at least get a moving view and a big one at that. So
Would
This
you
is
work in
true.
the elevator office?
I would
I
not
think
work
it'd
in
be-
Japan.
No.
Well,
that's fair.
this isn't Japan. It's
Well, it gives
like-
you easy
They
it is
access to
Japan,
jump
actually,
out,
we do call it Japan.
jump
They
off things.
established that Major is Japanese almost immediately.
well, all the characters are.
and the fact that
it is
they're in
Japan.
Newport City in Japan.
It's just a fake Japanese city. That's what it is. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Um,
Um,
would you
I
work
just really like their
would you-
Newports.
if you had to work in Japan? Would you work in the elevator office?
it'd be
Dude,
kind
I
of
wouldn't work in Japan. I'm with Connor on this one.
I mean, that's
Japanese
the
You had
work
to-
culture.
You don't.
Jap-
your hands are
Japanese-
tied. Your mother is going to be executed in
If you
front of
don't
you
work
if
in
you don't work in
Japan.
Japan.
Shit, I'll take the elevator office. Then at least it's something to look at when I. At least I can choose my difficulty when I jump.
That's true. That's true.
Choose the
Oh.
difficulty.
Anyway, continuing onward from our becoming ghosts, if you will. So they capture the garbage guy and the other guy. Well, no, that's not right. So they go to start capturing the garbage guy, and then this other person with a Mac 10 that is also
God's
synonymous with a
strongest
nuclear
Well,
Mac 10.
weapon.
it's described as just overpressure ammunition, which is completely bullshit.
It blows up
Right.
an armored car.
It blows up an armored car and then somehow doesn't take the door off another one. So I'm not entirely sure how it works. But
He changed
Um,
magazines. He had
yeah,
to reload.
so
Yeah,
at this point, they've
changed to his,
introduced
under
what,
pressure ammunition.
3 pseudo protagonists. The actual protagonist is Major, and then she has her assistants, and I can't think of their names.
There's
It's like
Gunter.
Rust, right? Where you like build only explosive ammo to shoot down someone's door, and then you just shoot them with like regular bullets because
I think it's
they get the job done
I
still.
like the fact that we have a podcast of movie discussion where none of the hosts can remember the characters' names.
It's because 90% of the time, like if you asked me, what was the movie we watched with the witch girl? I can't think of her name.
What? The witch girl?
What?
What the fuck?
Yeah, hold on. I've got the stub right next to me.
Oh, Kiki's Delivery Service.
Kiki's Delivery Service. I cannot name a single character in that except for Kiki. Not even the cat. at
Yeah,
this
apparently
point.
you couldn't
Kiki.
even
And I
do
name
love
thoroughly
Kiki.
enjoyed that movie.
Apparently you can't even
apparently
name
I can't remember
Kiki.
Kiki. I wanted to say
Kiki, do you
Niki's
love me?
Delivery Service.
Niki's
but it's not
Delivery
Niki.
Service. It's a movie about her
Does that
driving a
work for
car
her?
across Australia.
No, she's driving one of the semi trains. You know,
Oh,
like how they have the
speaking of,
semi
fuck.
trucks where it's
Oh,
just like
yeah.
trains of like cargo.
What do you owe speaking
How
of
do you
fuck?
how do you have speaking of for semi trains?
No,
hold on, yeah.
no. For Ghibli.
Oh,
We gotta
Arietti
see.
is
Yeah, we gotta
next
see
weekend?
Arietti tomorrow.
Yep. Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah, it's this weekend.
Oh shit, are we just retarded? Okay,
We
what
forgot to
time
see it
do you-
today, but
We're
we'll
gonna
sort-
have to look at what time
we'll-
theaters are open because I've got class until 5.
until 5, then we're good. It's like a 9 o'clock showing, I think. We'll be.
Oh,
fine.
okay, then let
She'll
me
be
just
right.
text someone. While I'm thinking about it, real quick, let me text my director that I will not be in attendance to ban. Welcome to the podcast.
Speaking, by the way, we are currently 9 points ahead of the Pacers. So yeah, no, the fucking gun that they break out during the scene where they just start blowing
Yeah.
shit up. What the hell kind of thing is it? And there's this really cool sequence that they do
Super
where they
cool
have.
break. So I do want to go back. One dude in that like when the first assassination, super cool concealed briefcase gun. Right?
Oh, the
Other guy
briefcase
just pulls
gun!
out- Other guy just
Yeah.
kind of other guy just pulls out a revolver.
Yeah, the guy picks out like just
Like
like a simple
this is
pistol.
like a super discreet. Like it's hidden inside a briefcase. Like the whole thing comes apart and it's a tiny
Okay,
little
but his was
submachine gun.
automatic too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other guy just has a revolver in his pocket.
Which apparently like 50% of the population thinks revolvers are just the greatest fucking weapon ever
Okay,
made.
but
And so they
but
use
the
them.
Mataba
and they're
guy is
Yeah,
super
the dude with the
cool.
Mataba.
That being said, did he do anything with the Mataba except put the tracking dart?
Well,
No.
I think,
No.
But they
I think
also,
it's
because he's a human, they constantly cock blocked him from actually doing things in the film because
Fun-
he has a
it's
wife
like
and
the
kids.
fun fact is like that dude is just like John Wick. Like he's a better fighter than all of them, but he just gets cock blocked because he could die.
He could die.
Yes.
Well, what's crazy though is I love the line of it where the major is talking with the guy at the Matsuba, and she's like, "Are you afraid of like automatics jamming up on you?" Ignoring the fact that the Matsuba is an automatic rifle or revolver.
Revolver.
It's
Yes.
a rifle.
Well,
Holy
it's
shit.
what's it called?
It's not
Dual
double action.
action.
It's not. It uses
What do you
the
mean?
recoil to
You
cock the
pull
hammer
the
back.
trigger and it just keeps firing.
No, it's a semi-automatic. But what I'm trying to say is that the
Yeah.
way that the Matsuba is designed is that you don't have to, because a double action revolver, you pull the trigger, it pulls the hammer back for you, right?
Yeah.
The Matsuba, when you fire it, it uses the recoil to cock the hammer back to begin with. It's technically a semi-automatic revolver. It's wild. It
Sorry,
also
I'm trying
fires
to
out of the
process it.
bottom
So when
barrel.
you pull the trigger on double action,
Yeah,
it
it
yes.
pulls the hammer back
But the
and it hits.
Matsuba resets the hammer regardless of if you pull the trigger or not, as long as the gun has been fired first.
Yes, it's a semi-automatic revolver.
Whoa, that's so weird.
Yeah, it
Okay.
fires out of the bottom barrel too. We don't know why. It's fucking weird.
I think we all need to just buy Matubas now.
Yeah, the
Um,
Matsuba Model 6 Unica is a
You know what
recoil
this is gonna
operated
be?
semi-automatic revolver.
This is gonna be the guy who like found a ton of boxes of the ammo that's used in like the jet pistol or whatever
Yeah.
it's called. It's like you gotta be the guy who just buys jet pistols, throws it away, and then pulls out a new one at the shooting
It's
range.
357
And then just-
Magnum. The largest it gets is 454 Casull.
I wonder if
which
I
is-
can find one for sale real quick. Hold on, gunbroker.com. It only costs
That-
$14,000.
That always sounds.
Oh yeah,
that
because
only
it's
sounds
fucking. It's a
slightly
fucking
illegal.
fancy ass gun.
Yep.
Well, it's made in Italy, so you can't. You have to get it imported. I don't think you can even do that legally.
Well, I'm talking more about the gunbroker.com. Like the naming convention of it's a bit, I don't know.
It's a
yeah, this is where
download
you
a
buy all your
gun.
guns cheap.
Would you download a gun? I would download a gun.
I would download a
3D
gun.
printing is the future, man.
Yeah.
I'll 3D print my. Anyway, we've gotten massively sidetracked. um, where were we? So
Matsuba.
the guy in the with the Mac 10, guns down one of the people,
Killed.
and then the garbage guy kind of still exists. But so they give chase to the Mac 10 guy
He
and
turns
tell
on his
the
optical
guy with the
camouflage.
Matsuba. Well, hold on. They tell the guy with the Matsuba to just eat dick and secure the other one if he's still alive. And then the guy with the Mac 10, we'll call him Macker. Macker decides to put on his optical camouflage and start running through a crowd. And so the major, and I can't think of the other guy's name because there's
the-
Matsuba and then there's
What's
his name?
Let's look. Hold on, I can just pull it up. Bateau.
Bateau, who is sick, by the way. He's pretty much just the Terminator.
The guy at the Matsuba is Tokusa.
He is going to be Matsuba to be.
That's fair.
Because I've already forgotten Bateau.
Say the word Matsuba more than his own name.
He does.
But
That's the best part is that they don't point out that like he's just using a revolver. He sits there and he goes, "This is the Matsuba 6 Unica, available from Matsuba's manufacturer." Like he does like the full
it's pretty much an
revolver
advert.
ocelot shit. I mean, I'm sure it is probably an ad. Something
But
like that.
anyway, so they start running him down. They go through a crowd of people, and that's when they remembered that just because you're perceived as being invisible, you still leave a heat signature and a shadow. So they turn on their infrared and start looking for him. And then he just kind of shows himself. I don't think they established that they technically saw him, but he just starts running through the crowds and knocking people over. So the Terminator gives chase to him and starts running him down. And so he starts shooting at the Terminator, which means like 12 people die in a
Yeah.
unfortunate mall accident, effectively. But they eventually catch him. Major turns on her active camouflage, and then
So like the major, she's wearing body armor before this because it's going to be like a risky move or whatever that. So which means that in order for her to get her active camouflage on, she basically sat there where all the cars were burning and wrecking, just stripping naked.
pretty much.
It's a really
car
smart.
Car crashes are so fucking hot, man.
It's a really
Yeah.
fucking cool idea for like a system, right? It's just imagine if you like, I need to go into stealth mode. Let me get butt ass naked in the middle of the street.
But so
She's not
this
naked,
guy,
but it's like it's
It's like a skin suit.
a skin
exactly
suit,
what
but
it is.
skin
but
suit,
it's so form fitting that you can see your fucking nipples through it.
wow, just focus on that instead of her eyes. I see how it is.
Well, I
Well,
can't
there's a
see
reason
her
why they
eyes.
can
She
Right.
wears the visor.
Insatiable
Connor,
desire for
there's
carnal
a
pleasure on
reason
this
why
one.
there's a
can't
reason why
even see
Ladnie
her
couldn't remember
eyes.
the plot.
That's fair.
You
That
can't
was
even
one
see
of
her
the
eyes. She's
bits we
wearing the
had going.
visor
Was
and the
that the
veil.
only reason we got Khalib to watch the film and have to read was because
Movies.
the
That's how
entire
he
subtitle was
reacts.
just over her chest the entire time. But
No.
anyway, so they catch him because he runs through this back alley. And by the way, the city is effectively just Venice.
Yeah,
He runs through this
Japanese
back
Venice.
alley and he empties out on the border of what I don't know what to call it. It's a river, but it's not
It's
deep.
what's it called? It's like where all this. It's like a spillway or something like that.
Almost, yeah, but it's still filled with water.
What is it called?
Um,
It's the place where they had the car chase in Repo Man before they went off and got the drink. You know what I
effectively,
mean,
yeah.
right? Yeah, exactly like that.
I
And he
just
gets
don't
his.
know there is an
What
architectural
is
name for it. I just
it's
don't
a
know what it
drainage
is.
ditch. That's what it is.
I
No.
guess, but it wasn't really a drainage ditch, and it wasn't on the side of the road. It was like an open causeway kind of thing.
Yeah, but
I don't
like.
know. You can just look up the movie.
Yeah, you
Um,
can look it up. And so the
Me.
guy gets his
Um,
ass whooped by a shadow.
well, no. What's more important is that he empties out into this ditch and then is kind of in awe of what lays before him, as if it's something that's familiar, but he can't exactly identify what. And then she starts beating the fuck out of him, and
She
like he
kicks his
pulls a
fucking
knife,
ass
and so she breaks his wrist and then his
in like
ankles and shit.
17 different places.
Yeah. But they detain the people and then they find out that these guys have no idea who they are. One of the things the garbage man was talking about was he was showing this picture of his
He was
daughter,
doing
his
all this so he
beautiful,
could get his
gorgeous
daughter the
daughter.
divorce.
And so when he's in prison, he's showing off the picture of his daughter, and it's a picture of him and a dog.
Yeah,
Um,
let me grab the photo and put it up on the screen real quick because it's actually
Really funny picture.
it is pretty good, but
They got him from like the worst angle in
yeah, they
that
got him in
picture.
like the worst angle ever.
yup.
Like a massive like oh fuck moment because it's
And then
like
there's the
oh
basset hound that's just kind of staring at the camera.
because they gave him like when they like took over this guy, right? They gave him like 10 years of memories.
Yeah,
It's
effectively.
like having
It's like
the
when you wake
dream.
up from the
Yeah,
No, no,
like
no.
simulation after you've
It's
lived for 75 years to
well,
realize
you
that
know
your
what it
wife
is?
and kids are
It's the
dead.
have you heard the thing? It's like you have like a wife and kids. You know everything's going. You're dying old, and as you go to sleep, you realize that the lamp next to you is flat.
Right.
well,
Well,
like
no. One of the best ones I've seen of that is that there's you know who Daniel Thrasher is?
no. Oh yes.
The piano guy. He did a bit about how, you finally go to sleep as a 70-year-old, right? You die and then you wake up and take off a VR headset and it was all a simulation. So you're having
Isn't
an
that like a
existential
fucking
crisis.
Rick and Morty episode? Is all.
I'm sure, but he's having an existential crisis, right? Because he had a wife and a kid and all this other stuff. But the guy who's interviewing him about all of it is just really curious as to what Chuck E. Cheese had, the impact Chuck E. Cheese had on him growing up, and if like he would have gone back as an adult, shit like that.
I the whole
Um,
you
One
know
does
one of
not simply go back to
the Chuck E.
Chuck
well
Cheese.
one of the philosophical
Charles
things that the
implicate
movie
it
talks
in
about
the
too
cheese.
is like the fact that human being the only reason why you are a human being is that you have your memories, right? Is so like
Well, we'll get into that in a second because it's more
but
complicated when the other person shows up. But
he points out
yes,
like yeah like the reason the whole of a human being is the fact that they have memories. And then they go, "Sorry, buddy, your memories have been erased, and there's no way to get them back." So he just fucking killed him. Like
yup,
in the
He got
argument
hit.
the movie
effectively.
puts forward,
He got
he's
hit with
dead.
the. He got hit with the womp womp.
He got hit
I
with
mean,
serious womp womp.
Yep. But so they let me think about what happens next. They go back. I think they do the swimming thing first, right?
Yeah, she goes diving, and I like it too, cause
So good.
what's his name? Gato Bato is like, "Hey, why do you go diving?" And she goes, "I think it's neat." And he goes, "Don't you know that you can just fucking drown? Like you're a
You are a
robot and all that."
robot. You
But
sink like
it's like
Well,
instantly.
And that's why her response being, well, if my automatic floater or whatever doesn't work, then oh well,
be it.
boo
Yeah,
hoo, I
which
drowned.
is a she's not no, she's not even that. Like she doesn't have to really breathe, right? But the best part, I guess she has that little rebreather and whatever. But like imagine that because you don't have any lungs to like do your balance and all that stuff. So
You just kind of,
yeah, you just sink. Goodbye.
that's it.
That's
You're,
it.
you're
And she makes a comment, "What are you gonna do? Dive in to save me?"
And
Well,
he's
it's
like, I
either
don't
you're
know,
sleeping with
maybe.
the fish. Well, depending on where you're at, you're either sleeping with the fishes or you're hitting crush depth. So,
See, and that's the other curious thing, though.
You get the
If her,
bends.
well, she doesn't get the bends because she's a robot. Because she's a robot and she doesn't need to breathe. How long can her brain function underwater, or is she just permanently trapped on the bottom of the ocean, unable to escape it?
She shoot
But anyway,
herself. Well,
they
the funny part is
not
when
if she
we were
doesn't have a
watching,
gun on her.
when we were watching the movie though, you said, "Do you think she ever gets the bends?" And the first thing I thought was the Radiohead album. I'm like, I don't know. I bet she can probably find it.
I bet she could. No.
Um,
But they have a very philosophical dialogue here,
by
which
the way,
I
we're
don't
11
feel
points
like
ahead of
getting
the
into.
Pacers. Anyway,
Oh, I guess our capital's gonna burn down in celebration.
yay!
congrats, Connor. No
But
work tomorrow.
right.
No work
Or
ever.
school, I suppose.
At what point do I just get a W on my
God, I
transcript and
can't
take
wait to
physics
come back and
later?
like, hey, we can't have school. What happened?
SGA hit a
We
three
beat we
pointer.
beat we beat the Pacers and
That's it.
the school's
That's why.
gone. School's
But
gone.
And it's gone.
so
What do you mean it's gone?
they
The
have a
whole
very
the
interesting
whole
philosophical
like
dialogue
campus.
about what it even means to be alive.
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter, a shell gets fucking ran over by a truck,
Shell that
and
looks basically just like the Major, except that it has
the
blonde hair.
blonde version of the Major. Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Um.
fucked up to think about, right? The Major is not unique. The only thing that's unique about her is
Yeah.
her brain.
But so
And there's like these, and
the
we need to point out though that like in between all these cool action scenes, there's just these long shots of everybody kind of just looking around, right? Like
right.
one of the things is like the Major, she's sitting on like a boat, like going through the city, and she looks up into like a restaurant, and there's somebody wearing the same shell as her, and she's like, oh damn. There's
Damn,
like a long lingering shot of like
that's
mannequins.
that's
But they don't
awkward.
really establish if the girl doing the desk
Yeah,
job or
or if that
whatever
was
is
like
actually, her body, or if it's just, her
you think
having
she was
a.
like the model of it, or yeah, we don't really know.
Well, you don't even know if it's a real thing
That's true.
because they kind of imply that it could just be her freaking out.
Thinking or like thinking about it.
Um,
Yeah. What if she had a normal life?
right. Or what if, she had never sold her body to the government or
Or
whatever
what
the
if
hell? Because that's another thing. On the boat, they talk about how they could just run away and they have free will. Like they're on the boat taking their time off, even though they're effectively computers.
Yep.
Because the government can't work them too hard.
Yes, they get
And
free
they
time. They're allowed
technically
to
still
drink
have
on the
bodies made
job.
of flesh. Right. Um, but anyway, so shortly
And then
thereafter, you see her twin, who they explain is, well, yeah, okay, there's no point holding back on it. They explain that the MAGA tech or Mega tech or whatever the hell it was,
MAGA tech.
they
Donald Trump.
pronounce it they pronounce it MAGA tech.
Yeah.
But the big tech corporation, the
And it's
shell
an American company.
manufacturers, yes, with the government funding and stuff, but the secret government funding, has been hacked, right? And a shell was made without any clearances. Um, but the shell, is walking away and then gets slammed into by a truck, which, by the way, entirely the
Grandma
truck
got
driver's
ran
fault.
over
He does
by a
not try and
reindeer.
brake. Like, he is on his horn for 10 to 20 seconds and then just fucking hits her.
Yeah.
Yep,
Um,
I will
this is my
continue
life
to use the
now.
horn until you leave.
or die. But so,
You made this choice.
they
not
pull it
me.
back. Section 9 pulls it back, right? And they're dissecting it and going through it. And they find out it does have a ghost inside of it, right?
Which means, I mean, they did point out that like cyberbrain stuff like that, like there are like basic procedures that it can follow, but it's the fact that it's a full ghost. You're like, oh fuck.
Right. Um, so like there are true automatons in this universe, that just have flesh as well. But this one actually is a person, right? Um, and then I have to think about this. The Section 6 guy shows up and is like, "Oh, we need that because the government said we can have it."
The Americans want
Um,
it.
and then he goes, "Oh yeah, the person inside of it is the puppet master himself. Like that's him."
That's the guy.
Um,
That's the terrorist. That's him.
right.
That's the guy.
And so in this moment, right, the
Elijah Wood.
puppet master starts blowing shit up and comes to life and then goes, yeah, I'm just
I'm
as
alive.
alive as the rest of us. I want political asylum and diplomatic immunity." Um,
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
and
And
Her
they
so
go,
he
robot
starts
fights
no.
back.
well,
No.
they go, "You can't have that because you're a robot." And he goes, I mean, yeah, I am not a person, sure, except for I am still a being in this universe, right? That I
I
am
am
alive."
alive.
Um, and so
'Kay,
you need to
that's a neat thing
go
to
ahead.
bring up too, because like typically the argument that what makes somebody alive or what is not whether or not they have like
So,
like a biological body or whatever, and then the major's sitting right there.
right.
Like the
Mm.
only thing
Um,
biological about the major is her brain, right? And if the brain can be emulated by a cyber brain, what's the
then
difference?
what's the fundamental difference? Um,
Is it because she has
but
meat?
they start arguing very short termed about, is he a human? Is he alive? And then at the same time some other shit's happening, but it all culminates in a SWAT team breaking in and stealing the body. Um, and then driving away. And then the man with the plan and
Man
the
with the
automatic
plan.
pistol.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
well. First up, you got to figure out that the absolute Batman shit that he pulls
yeah,
to
he's
figure
looking
that
at the
out,
garage and goes, "That doesn't look right." And so he
because
pulls
it's
a what seismic something
no,
or
he
another. I
gets out
forget
of
what they call it, but
pressure. He gets out of
it's just a yeah
he does the
pressure.
pressure sense. Well, first off, he notices that they're going through, and the door is open for 3 seconds longer than it's supposed to be, which
No, no,
implies
no, no,
that
no.
people
It's
are
the cars
the
first.
cars first. Yes.
And then he goes, "That it doesn't look like either of them drive that kind of car." And so he pulls up the footage of the doors that instantly close behind you.
Yep.
And then
There's three
there's
seconds longer, which means that there's at least a couple people going behind them as well.
right, and
Um.
cloaking technology is illegal inside government buildings and
Yep.
goes against the anti-spyware shit. Um,
Oh, by the way,
and then
currently at the end of quarter three, and we're 13 points ahead of the Pacers. Anyway,
anyway, but so uh he makes all these connections and then he goes, "Hey, by the way, Major, shit's about to go down, so be ready." And she goes, "I," and then
and
shit
then
goes
he
down,
gets
and
geared
she
up.
wasn't ready. But
Yeah, because when they bust him out, they bust the puppet master out, and it's a bunch of section six goons getting him out of
sex and
there.
shit.
Sex and shits, goons
Um,
getting him out of there.
right, and they all get him out, but the only person who actually was ready was Batman. And he tries to
Yeah,
fire on it with his automatic revolver,
his
which
mate ba.
it results in him scraping shit off of nothingness. And then as the car goes by, he drops a tracking beacon in its tail.
Which
So
crazy ass like internal code names set up on the system, which kind of go hard. That the whatever's being tracked is called
Hunter.
the game, and then
right,
whoever's tracking it is called the hunter, and it tells you how close you are, which is pretty cool.
yep.
And
But
then
so they it's kind of convoluted what happens because of the game hunter thing. They don't it is really convenient because it skips a lot of the animation work that would otherwise go into depicting all of these scenes.
yep,
um but for us the viewers it makes it hard to track it. They switch cars at some point, right? And they have
they have a
two
dummy
guys
car.
driving the car
Yeah,
that they have the tracker in, right? And then another one going somewhere else. Major starts tracking the other car. The dummy car meets with a very fascinating fate. They establish at this point in humanity, we've invented the railgun,
yep.
and it's terrifying
Oh yeah,
because the uh, Batman, for all
Batman.
intents and purposes, is running down this car, and then you see on a roadblock, you see the perspective of two just normal dudes with a railgun that you
Yeah.
don't really connect is just a railgun. And you see the guys in the car on the run from
Well,
Batman.
the
And you're like,
the crazy
okay,
part is that the railgun is fucking blinking. Like it
yes,
has
it
like
is
a little
blinking
I
like it's
sensor, like a
I
watching
like I
human
you.
like the
eye.
concept of the railgun guys because I like to imagine it's You seen the movie where it's like Tom Hanks and he gets raided by the Somalian pirates, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's a scene where they shoot the Somalian pirates, right? And like they're doing the whole rescue option. The guys at Sniper Rifles just pack up and leave like it's just another Tuesday. There's no celebrating. They're just like, all right,
Yeah,
kill
Well,
it,
it's
imagine
just the
dudes.
being.
Shane Gillis bit about
Yeah.
the difference between the Taliban and
Yeah, yeah,
American
yeah.
operators.
Yeah.
Where when
If
the
you heard,
Taliban
if you
blows
heard
up a
that,
truck, they celebrate and throw a rave, and then an American black op
kills like
or
40 people,
AH-64, yeah,
it
it
just
goes
goes
40.
clear.
clear in the
That's
meat.
psychopathic. Like, there's,
But
I mean, like, if you look at, I love that Shane Gillis bit entirely for the thing of like, did you know that the War of Terror is just out there? Like, you can watch the whole thing like it's a TV show. Like,
which
we
is true.
recorded so much
It's
shit
like
of it.
it's the concept of those people are barbarians. You see them celebrating over destroying a truck versus this is Terry. He killed 40 of those fucks. Didn't even blink.
He killed 40 people, and we're not even quite sure if they were combatants to begin with. Clear.
But so that's effectively the railgun guys. Is like
Yeah,
you don't know
they.
anything about them, but they're just cold and calculating. But so the guys in the
I would
decoy
if
car
I
are
were
getting
in
ready to have to
if
fight,
I were in the
and
Section
then just
9
out
police
of nowhere the
department.
driver implodes.
Yeah, if I were
Yeah,
in the
well, the
Section
best part
9 police
is the
department, I would.
screen cracks first. These guys obviously whiffed a shot. Either that, or they're just making sure these guys shit themselves before they die.
I would.
Because the screen cracks, you're like, oh, what happened? And then the dude to the right just disintegrates effectively.
If I were working for Section 9, I would never get anywhere close to those guys in the canteen. It's like, oh, time to go get my lunch. Oh, it's all
They're the
railgun
type of guys that has
operators. I'm leaving.
they're the
I
type of guys
guess I'll
they
come
have like
back tomorrow.
they have like a toothpick in their mouth, right? You just look like a little fly, and they just kind of spit the toothpick, and it just nails the fly to the wall.
Honestly, but
Clear.
Do you think?
the
Where do you
Batman
think
is
the rail?
like, did we
Okay,
really need to do that? And everyone else
important
goes,
question
"Yep, effectively,
for snipers and the
um,
railgun operators. Where do they aim their piss in the toilets when they're taking a piss?
straight in
Loud.
the middle."
What's the?
Um,
You ever seen that fucking like
It's
chart where it's like all the
it's a
different philosophies?
grid.
It's the grid, but it's also the one where it's like the philosophies and like which ones fit, and it's like
My favorite one is
like
the grid one,
Diogenes
and it's
is
just like you have the option for the cat, and like
Diogenes and he's
90%.
pissing off the corner.
pissing on the floor. Like
Who's
don't
the one
go.
that's pissing in the sink?
Yeah, it's Kant that's pissing in the sink. It's like express the new, or no, it's Nietzsche for pissing in the sink because it's express
Expressing.
new ideas.
Yeah,
It's just-
but anyway, now
Oh.
we're just talking about piss, which is weird, and I'm disappointed in all of us.
Keaton did not say
But
anything.
so
He has been
I
saying.
Good job, Keaton.
Keaton may be gone.
I too am in this episode.
Thank you,
That
Dr.
is the
Wilson.
perfect response to coming back.
Um,
I've been here the
but
whole time.
No, you
just
just
he
came back.
has. He's just been quiet.
Like he is in every episode.
But let me think. So, Major is pursuing the other car, which turns into the real car, and she tells the Terminator, "Hey, don't follow me. Go help Batman." And the Terminator goes, "No, fuck you." And so she,
gonna go help.
makes it to the ground and sees the car and is like, "Hold on, something doesn't look right." So she puts on her infrared and sees that the car is being guarded by what is effectively the tanks that the Fallen have in Destiny that are just spiders. And
You
it's
need to
standing over it,
understand that almost everything cyberpunk slash like futuristic was stolen from this anime,
pretty much.
which
Because
Fair,
then
the
in turn
designs
stole
are
everything
super
from.
fucking cool.
Which in turn it stole everything from Blade Runner to begin with, so it's kind of.
This is true. It's a weird loop. Unlike where every single Western film is just an adaptation of something by what's his name?
Every American,
Kurosawa.
yeah, a lot of American, Kurosawa is just better samurai Western movies until Sergio Leone shows up and goes, "Hold on, motherfucker,
Pretty
Check
much.
I'm
this
gonna
shit
copy
out."
you for the first time, and then after that we're going ham."
I'm gonna copy you for the first time, lose the lawsuit, and then after
Lose
that,
the last.
we're
I love
never touching your shit again.
I love the line from the lawsuit that Toho did against Sergio Leone, where Kurosawa testified and he goes, "Mr. Leone made a very fine film, but it's my movie anyway."
Which is why, if you look at it on the Wikipedia article for A Fistful of Dollars, Kurosawa is listed as one of the people responsible for the film.
He made
But
a very
anyway,
fine
way he
movie,
made that
but it's
movie.
but
my
it's
very
my
Um,
movie.
We stand here amidst
Um,
my achievements.
not yours.
Right, hold
Mine.
on. I want to just go verify what his role is listed in the movie. No, not
Yeah, based on
dollars.
Akira Kurosawa, both uncredited.
Yeah. Um, but
Is the
there it
I
is.
need to find out if the dude from Yojimbo, like the massive giant guy, is still alive. Because last time I checked, he is. Um, let's see. We're going on a little bit of a side quest about this. Let's see.
What was his name? I don't
I don't
remember.
remember either.
Well, we gotta find it. We gotta find a way to make this movie, this podcast episode longer than the actual movie.
We're 16 points ahead of the Pacers right now, by the way, in quarter 4. Um, let's see.
I
Sunagoro
can just find it.
Sunagoro Rashomon. He is still alive.
Congrats.
He is 125.
What?
105.
Hold on.
105. Sorry, I'm fucking stupid.
Okay, I was
Listen,
He is
about
the
to say.
longest living
In person
person.
ever, and he has gigantism. He's just clowning on all of us.
Hey,
Yeah.
Andre.
No,
Bitch.
okay. Just to verify, the longest living person was 122 years and 164 days old.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Women
But anyway,
statistically live longer than men, and he's just showing up. He's badass. He's all of them. Yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
But
He's still 105 years old. Crazy.
anyway, so where were we? She
Go kill
makes it
God.
to the place and the tank is there, and then the tank starts shooting at her, and then action sequence. What's really fun, I think my favorite part of this action sequence, and I noted it, it's almost very similar to The Matrix when they're shooting up the police station, right?
Yeah.
There's pillars being used as cover, getting absolutely destroyed, right? Explosions all over the place. A very intense moment. It is, instead of, in contrast to the Matrix having its explosive fun music, it's ambient and quiet and kind of
Terrifying.
serene, and
Yeah,
it adds so much more depth to the film because it goes from being, something that would otherwise be sick as hell. Like if you go put fucking what's the song by Rob Zombie, the dig to the ditches and burn to the woods.
Dracula.
Yeah, Dracula. If you put Dracula over it, I'm sure it goes hard as shit, but it's not as surreal as with the fucking weird ass ambience that's going on anyway.
Hold on.
Um,
Am I looking at this right? Yoko Kanno made the music for the Ghost in the Shell OVA. What the fuck?
Is it OVA for it?
Yeah,
what's an OVA?
original video animation.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's just a show, essentially.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Making sure I got this right. Yeah, Yoko Kanno is responsible for what? What
Your
did she
mother.
make? The name is
Um,
familiar, and I can't remember who that is. Anyway, continue.
So the fight scene between her and the tank ends with her kind of deciding to
Cut off
just
her
punch the
arms.
tank. So she, cloaks in front of the tank and
Yeah.
then jumps up on top of it and tries to rip open the hatch. And because she is, immune to pain and has
She
superhuman
just
steroids,
obliterates her arm doing it.
she's trying to open the tank and she rips off both of her arms and tears her legs in half and shit.
Trying to get the whole thing of
Absolutely destroys
well,
it.
she makes the ballsy ass decision that I'm currently in combat with tank. I'm just gonna hack into its brain.
Well, the thing she wanted was the puppet master, who was
Yeah.
not in the tank but next to the tank.
Yeah, she wanted to
Um,
dive into it.
she wanted, yeah, diving is when she connects her soul or whatever, and then
It's
they are in a
it's
shared consciousness kind of state.
it's when the Wachowskis would make Final Fantasy. What the fuck? The Matrix. They would just steal those concepts for jacking out.
Are you feeling all right?
No, you know that joke. Have you never done that joke? It's the fucking.
No.
It's the any reference to the Matrix. You have to make the jacking off joke. It's the one where
Why?
it's. You know what it's called when you get into the Matrix in the movies?
I don't
They
remember.
jack you in and then they get you out. They jack you out.
Check you
Right.
out.
But I
Okay.
love the one where it's the guys like who are in the Matrix. You know what? No, what? I don't want to do this anymore. Jack me off, bro. It's jack me out. Jack me out.
Jack me off. That's pretty good. Anyway, so she wants to get into his brain. But she's not winning against an actual tank. So she destroys her body, and then the tank has an arm, so it grabs her by the face and is about to actually just fucking destroy her when the Terminator
Terminator.
shows up
With
and
the weapon
annihilates
from
it
With his
with,
shell
with
gun.
the
yeah.
with his AT rifle from Helldivers.
Effectively, yeah, the
Shoulder mounted it's a shoulder
yeah,
mounted
it
AT.
literally actually is just the same fucking thing, isn't it? But
Super fucking badass though.
100%, he destroys the
'Cause
tank.
he's doing this by himself.
I don't know if you
without,
saw
like,
it though. The reason he stopped firing is because the weapon jammed on the casing.
Oh really? I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Uh,
just satisfied with his work.
No, the weapon was caught on a casing, and he establishes that it's an experimental weapon, which is why he owns it.
Yeah,
He
well,
went. It should be noted when he was
he
told by Major earlier to go help Batman. Instead, he went home and pulled out his anti-tank weapon.
I think that's the better part is he just has safe houses everywhere that he just the concept of we're in the middle of a chase scene. I'm gonna go home and grab my other
Right.
gun.
Right. But
I've got time to
so
burn.
he helps her get hooked up and start the dive with the puppet master, and at the same time the Black Hawk helicopters go in to take their kill like cold psychopaths.
Super
Um,
bad Black Hawk
and they
helicopter.
set up their sniper team, and
Going
get them
for the
ready to
kill.
thank you.
What is that a reference to?
There's this video of a US sniper team getting set up on a
And then like they radio in
hill.
super technical and he kind of looks over to his buddy. Sniper team, sniper team.
team.
Going for the
For the
kill.
kill.
I
And they're
don't
like
remember the
touching
best of
fingers
it.
and shit.
Yeah.
By the way, we're 21 points ahead
but
of the Pacers right now.
just kill yourself. But so they, whenever it's your episode, I'm just gonna be talking about some other sports event the entire
Sports
time.
ball. We're gonna be
Sports
playing
ball.
War Thunder. We're gonna play. You're just gonna be playing Dune while it's
You
raining.
already
Well,
played
no,
War
no.
Thunder
Last time
during
we
a
were
pre-
playing
yeah,
competitive CS.
yeah.
But that was a dumb movie where I didn't have to think about what we were talking about, and also I had no idea how to begin to describe that movie.
Well, Repo Man went hard though. It was awesome.
It went hard. I don't disagree, but I could not talk about that movie. But so she goes for the dive as the sniper team's getting in position, and they're looking to kill both her and the puppet master. And the Terminator goes to try and detach them because he can't hear what she's saying, right? And when they do the dive, they effectively swap bodies. So she
Yeah.
is in the mute body of the former puppet master, and he's in her brain speaking out loud. So the Terminator
Terminator's going, "What
rightfully
the fuck?"
freaked out because she's trying, or the puppet master is trying to be like, yeah, we should merge consciousness. Tries to stop
See,
it.
a bit alarming, right?
Right, and he can't speak to her, and he's trying to talk to the puppet master, but the puppet master is completely blowing him off. So he tries to stop it, but the puppet master is in the system. He's in the walls.
He's in the walls. I think what's really funny about this is that this movie came out in like what 1990
1995.
1995, and so the puppet master is using the term meme like as like the
Yes.
proper like sociological phrase
It's the
before.
same thing of like Metal Gear Rising Revenge is becoming such a massive like meme.
Memes, Jack. The
It's,
DNA
it's,
of
it's,
the
it's the
soul.
same thing where he's talking about like
An actual
memes in a
sociological
literal
concept.
yeah.
Yes.
But people, oh, he said memes. They're the
He said
DNA of the
memes.
soul.
Check the internet lately, have check.
Which is funny
Memes.
because he pull up Twitter, Jack.
Yeah.
But for those out of curiosity, because I knew what it meant, but I wasn't sure for verification, a meme, an element of a culture or system of behavior passed from one individual to another by imitation or other non-genetic means.
Yeah, it's the social gene.
Yes.
Like, how
But
about full of shit? Is that a meme? Yes.
yes. But so they, have all this fun. The sniper team gets ready to take the shot, and then the puppet master, being omniscient and in the system, goes, no, you ain't shooting me worth shit. And so the sniper team's shit gets all scrambled, and they apparently just can't eyeball it. Which
well, it's the whole
Their eyes
concept of
don't work.
relying
They've
on
got
technology.
cyber eyes, Connor.
Yeah.
my bad. But
Nissan
anyway, so
Caleeb.
they finish their
Have you
conversation.
ever tried
but
to
you're
shoot
not
them with your eyes
privy-
turned off, Connor?
My bad.
That's even
So-
funnier. Yeah, turned your eyes off. Like, there's no.
Well, that's a quick hack in Cyberpunk. Is you just turn someone's eyes off.
That's pretty fucking
That's true.
terrifying.
Um,
Yeah,
but
how's
the
it
more
going?
terrifying one is like the late game like cyber hack you can get. You just make someone shoot themselves. Like you control
one's
their
bad.
arms and pull out their pistol. Yeah, no, that one's.
Would you get
really
cybernetic
fucked
eyes
up.
if you knew that somebody could just hack into your system and turn them off?
Would you get any cybernetics if you knew that?
Would
someone
you
could
get
just
any
look at
cybernetics?
you
That's a
and-
good question. Yeah.
well, that's one of the themes that they talk about. So maybe we should finish the fucking episode.
Nah.
You'd finish the summary. We're gonna have a philosophical conversation just to get the
Too
the
much
longest
effort.
episode running.
This is true. But the sniper team gets their shit on order. You're not privy to the end of the conversation, and then they take the shot and they blow the puppet master to hell. They decapitate Major, and the Terminator loses his arm. Right.
Yep.
And then it just kind of fucking cuts with the Major's decapitated head on the ground. And
End
then
of movie.
yeah.
Just
It
about.
does some weird shit, and then you see her kind of sitting in the chair in a child's body, but with her fully grown head attached. And the Terminator walks in, and then in a child's voice, she pretty much goes, "This isn't really a nice body. You kind of suck." And then
And he goes, "It's all the money I had.
he goes, "This is
This
literally
is
all
not
of my
my
life
This is
savings."
not my decision."
It was
the
the
only thing I
only
could
one they
find.
had this available on the black market within my
Yeah.
budget.
So
But she goes to leave, right? He says, "You can stay with me for as long as you like," and she goes, "Thank you, but I think I need a day up."
I'm gonna go
And he goes,
outside.
"One more thing. Are you interlinked with the puppet master?" And then she gives him the greatest non-answer ever about how nobody really ever exists anyway. So maybe she is. And then the movie ends.
She runs off in the distance and goes, "I can't wait to begin living a new life."
This is
Like
true.
it
And then
means
she
to
gets
play.
hit by a truck, and
Yeah,
then the whole event.
She does
happen
not
again.
get isekai'd right at the end of the film.
I really
Fuck
wish
you.
it started just playing like the Sound of Music. She's wearing
The
like the
hills
cute
are
little
alive.
dress. She's just like, "It's beautiful to be alive." The
But,
hills are alive. The
Yeah,
sound.
that's pretty much the
Sounds
plot of the
of-
music. The plot of music? Plot of the movie.
Plot of music. We figured out the
We
whole
figured it out.
medium.
Thank you, Bach. But yeah.
So
I
yeah,
understand music now.
that was the movie. So we've got a few hypotheticals we need to talk about. First off,
We
would
have
you ever?
more than a few.
We have a
It's
lot.
time for ethics.
Yeah, that's true. So we're 18 points ahead of the Pacers, and would you ever get cybernetics if it were the possibility?
Fuck no.
I think it depends.
What if you had
on
like a
what they do for you.
debilitating injury, right? Like what if you lost both of your eyes? Would you get cyber eyes?
Okay, maybe yeah. Like I'm not scooping out my own eyeballs to get cybernetics, but
Yeah.
if it's a replacement for something I've lost,
So-
then yes.
So
I'd
you're
say
only
yes.
on the board
I mean,
of
okay,
prosthesis.
but
what if
hold
it
on,
adds
what's
on
the-
too?
What if what's the
Okay,
the-
okay,
it's-
okay.
If
My
you cut
thing
off
is,
a finger,
does it
every finger
count
you cut
as-
off is an exponential growth, right? And I forget the math equation that they use, but I think it's every single time you cut off a finger, you get 1,000 times more than what you got last time. How many fingers would you cut off? And the answer is all 10 fingers, because then you have $10 trillion, and you can just buy
Uh,
new hands. So like,
Ladnie.
if there's a caveat like that, right,
Have
where
you-
if you remove a part of your body, how much are you willing to remove?
Well, are you talking about like add-ons? Like if I could get go full
If I say
You
I'll
know,
give
did
you
you
all
watch-
the money in
did
the
you
world
watch,
if you cut off
uh,
your left arm, would you do it?
Oh, I meant you watch Andor, right?
No.
Well, Bill Burr's character in it, Mayfield, right? The
Huh.
way he fights, he has a third robotic arm on his back, and it just has a third pistol, and it just shoots anybody who pops up behind him.
By the way, ripped straight from the Adeptus Mechanicus, but yep.
True.
I'm
Oh yeah,
aware.
of course. But still be kind of cool as fuck to just have a third
I
or
watched The
fourth arm.
Mandalorian. That happened in that show.
Wait, would you give up your right arm to go back to when you had a right arm?
What?
Would you give up
What?
your right arm to go back to when you had a right arm?
This is a false dichotomy because I still have my right arm.
Yes.
Yeah,
you
it's
could-
just-
would you
it's fucking
go through
stupid.
the pain and agony of cutting off your arm, your right arm, to go back in time to whenever you had previously had a right arm?
This is just fucking stupid.
Oh.
No,
Would
no,
you-
the answer
would
is
you
yes,
time-
but only when I'm like 98.
You cut off your right arm to go back to like age 5 or what?
Yeah, and just get to relive life.
What
Because,
if? What
well,
if?
it depends. Do I get
Imagine.
to retain all of my knowledge?
Well,
Because I think
imagine.
it'd be a lot of fun to be a 5-year-old who's talking with all the knowledge of a 98 year
Imagine.
old.
Okay, so
No.
imagine getting.
You can
Imagine.
fuck with
Okay,
people
hold on.
too. You just start hitting the full score
Unlimited
70.
rice pudding.
Imagine getting your going through the agony of getting your arm cut off,
Connor,
and then
Connor,
you
you
and
go
then you
back in time.
discover you
You
go
go
back
back
in
in time, Ladnie. You go
Hold
back
on,
in time, and
Khalid.
it's just
Hold on. No, it's not your turn. Let me go.
you go through the pain and agony of getting your right arm cut off, and then you discover that the Calvinists were right and everything is predetermined. You don't even get to do anything fun, and like you don't have to do. You don't even get a do over. You're just trapped.
That'd be pretty funny.
You already know
you're
what's
gonna
gonna
go.
happen.
You're gonna go back in
It's your
time.
turn.
Your first words are gonna be invest in Bitcoin and then put it all in White Castle. 2030, they're gonna crack the burger recipe. It's over for everyone else.
Invest in Bitcoin. Put it all on red.
Invest in Bitcoin, and by red we mean GameStop.
Put it all on
GameStop's
GameStop.
making a comeback 2045.
Come out of the
No,
womb
no, no,
going,
no, no.
invest in Bitcoin right now.
You tell them to invest in. See, if I could go back in time, I would just go back to before my grandfather went to Japan. Because before I became, Japanese, if he had stayed in the United States, we would have been billionaires because he had put. Let me
put it
do
all
the
in black.
conversions real quick.
What is happening? What? I did. This is new lore. I haven't heard this before.
Have we never talked about this? Hold
I've
on.
never talked about the fact that you could be a billionaire.
Inflation
What a headache.
calculator. No. I wouldn't have been a billionaire. I just would have been related to one. I would have been a direct descendant of one.
Which
Hold
meant
on.
that, probably you would have gotten a
So,
good cut of that money.
how far back does this go? Oh, sweet. In
I got a question.
1969.
Yeah, what's the question?
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Would you want to be a millionaire?
Not really.
I don't think I would want to be like a I wouldn't want to be like one of those douchebag like venture capitalists, but I would take the $1 million and then set it aside to live off of.
Okay, so according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, assuming that I have the right year, right? The early 70s. My grandfather had about what is in today's money $40,000 invested into companies that would later, at the time, were only moderately successful. Them being Macintosh and Disney.
Oh no.
So if he had remained in the United States and had maintained those at the time $5,000 split between the two in some way, shape, or form, investments, he would have. Let me see. We'll just look at Apple. If you brought $1,000 worth of Apple stock in 1980, you would have $2 million today. There you go.
There we go.
But do the math.
Now
I don't care enough. But anyway, where were we?
now onto the
Oh yeah, go
idea.
back in time and tell
Yeah,
him
yeah,
just not to move.
yeah. So if we had the we're on the concept of the fact that the human existence is entirely defined by what your memories are. And that when you take away your memories, your entire being is basically erased, right?
Right.
Assuming we're going off of the idea, there is no such thing as like intrinsic, like inherent nature. Like everything is shaped by what you do, what your experiences are,
Experiences, yeah.
right? So if let's say we're not Marley and we don't believe that people are
Are inherently and
inherently bad.
innately evil.
Yeah. Um. Uh. Would you go through the process at the end? Like, let's say at the end of your life, you've got a seriously bad regret. Would you pay for the Sigmund Core to come to your company, to your
I was
house?
about to say, is this just Finding
Yeah,
Paradise?
Would you pay for the Sigmund Corporation to what do you think you're going to regret when you die?
If in life, at the end of it, you could have a computer go into your mind and reset your memories, so you will die without without anything ever having actually changed, but your perception of things was that it changed,
Yep.
would you have that operation done?
So let's say like you're at the end of your life and you're regretting never becoming an astronaut. Would you go through and have them change up your memories? A lot of crickets right now.
It's
We
because
thinking
Caleeb's
about
playing
it?
War Thunder.
Actually, no, we're not.
All right. Caleeb. Is he dead? Did he die? Oh,
No. Have fate worse than death.
he's in hell. He went to cyber hell.
Help me!
Okay, there we go. Now we're back. Are you still here? We good?
Yeah. Sorry, I was
Okay.
reading something.
Would you go through the process of getting your memories reset? Not reset,
Like,
but like altered.
no?
I
Quite
don't know.
fond of
Like
my
let's
memories
say
right now.
let's say at the end of your life, right? Let's say you always wanted to become an astronaut and you never managed to do it. Like you're sitting there like
Nah.
as like an 80-year-old going, "Man, I wish I became an astronaut."
Nah.
Nah. All right. Well, on to the next cybernetic thing to talk about. Did you guys like Cyberpunk
Wha-
2076? 7076. 2070. 27.
Well, good
Which one is it?
Lord, have
Cyberpunk
mercy. We're in the
2020.
Cyberpunk 2020 now.
That's the original
Fuck,
game. Did you guys like it? If you played it, my
dog, that
brain
shit
is
didn't
turning into
happen.
mush.
It was
Yes,
it was the
Cyberpunk
big
2020 is a real game.
No, I'm
It
saying
is.
it didn't happen. It was the big lie. All we got was COVID. Shit sucked.
Has anybody here seen Edge Runners?
I have, yeah.
Is it
Oh.
good?
I really want to stay at your house.
What?
He's quoting the thing.
It's the trauma song in that game
Oh,
or anime.
wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I guess we should go on to our thoughts about the movie. Um, we'll start with Connor.
Oh, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. I'm trying to set up an angle thing.
I'm trying to stall
Um,
for time so that way we can get to the end of the finals game, plus also get us to a longer running time than the movie. What are you doing, Connor?
I'm doing math.
You doing math while we're doing this? That's
I've been trying
okay.
to do my
You
physics
are?
homework. But what's pissing me off is it's about force vectors. And in case you weren't aware, force vectors make no fucking sense when it's a computer program trying to get you to draw them. Um, so I guess I'm just gonna fail this assignment. At some point, I need to just drop this class and go, I can't work on this right now because 8 weeks is hellish. Um, which I guess that's what I'll do tonight.
Drop the class.
Yeah, honestly. Because I
Fair
won't get
enough.
any of my materials refunded, which sucks. Then I made it halfway through all the lab reports that I'll need, but I am not understanding this and do not have the time to study it.
Fair enough.
Anyway, what was I saying?
Did you like the movie?
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. There was a lot of ethical analysis involved, and it's a movie that it was the first. I'm trying to think. I have to be very careful in saying it because I have to think if it's completely an accurate reflection. But as far as I am consciously aware, it was one of my first animated movies, and I believe the first movie to be considered an anime that I ever watched. Um,
Yeah, when did you watch this, by the way?
when did my mother meet Jay?
Oh, this
I
makes so
got
much more
married in
sense.
2015. So I met Jay. Actually, hold on. We're gonna have a guest star real quick.
Gonna call Jay. Your
Call
mom.
Jay Google.
That's pretty funny.
My mom won't pick up the phone.
So we have two guest stars on this episode.
Yeah. If he
Who's
picks up.
the other one?
We haven't figured it out yet.
Uh,
Maybe he won't. Imagine he picks up and goes, "Hey, I'm too busy doing your mom." It's not super late. Okay, again upon that. 3 guest stars. Call mother. I don't think we're gonna get a response here. But I'm glad that we're artificially
content.
extending the time on this episode.
Gotta make it
What'd
longer than the movie.
Okay, she's not picking up. Call Nerevar.
I think the thing that we need to do, Ladnie, is we
Yeah.
need to toss on the police scanner right as the game ends to listen to the insanity.
Are you home? Are both of the parents home? What are the parents doing? Oh, that explains when neither of them are picking up the phone. Do you know when we met Jay? I don't think we were the same age. If you were 3, you're what? 19 now? 18? Right? Because I'm still 20. So what, 15 years ago? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Love you. Bye
So
bye.
when you were 5.
So I'm 20 now. When I was 5, and then we didn't start really hanging out with him until, because that would have been what, 2009? We didn't
Yeah.
really start hanging out with him until about 2012. So I would have been about 8 years old when I saw the movie for the first time.
8 years old when you saw your first animated boobs.
Well, yes. And what was great about that was he put it on, and my mother was like, "What the hell do you have my children watching?"
It's a cool
Um,
movie. That's what I'm
it
watching.
was a sick movie, and she actually watched it and was like, "Oh shit, it's not like that." So it's okay. Um,
Anyway, what's your opinion
but
on the film?
anyway, uh, in terms of cinematography, it's neat. There are a couple scenes that are just kind of awkward to watch because like it's done well, but there's moments where like, okay, that just doesn't look very realistic. Um, if you remove all of the analysis that goes associated with it, it probably is, I don't know, like at most a 3 out of 10. It would be something I would put on if I just needed noise,
A 3 out of
or
5.
3 out of 5, big pardon. Thank you. It is not that bad. It's a 5 out of 10, if you will, or a
Yep.
6 out of 10 rather. But it's something I'd put on if I needed noise and or was just bored. But because the entire movie is actually just a philosophical commentary, it's easily a 4 out of 5.
Yep. Okay. Um, Caleeb.
If we're going by Ladnie's rating system, I think it was a 2 out of 5. Was it? Was the it's a cool movie? Wouldn't watch it by myself.
Yes.
Probably would watch it like once and be like, watched it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Visually stunning, but like I don't know, it just kind of felt short.
Yeah, it felt like it needed like 30 more minutes to run with.
Like it felt like it
But
ended
that's the
very.
best kind of movie when you go, shit, it's over.
I want more.
It's like it's like a fever dream type thing where you kind of just go, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Think about the desire for more of that story you now have, and then realize that there's like an animated TV show based on the events of the movie and a second movie out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is your take. Go ahead.
So what else did you like about it?
Oh, I thought the fight scenes were really cool. I mean, it was really funny seeing a dude get because it probably was. It was probably like the overpressure runs, but with the ongoing joke of man, that guy really got sauced up by a 22 long rifle or
I
whatever.
still think it's funny that there's like overpressure ammunition and it just obliterates a car. Like,
Wouldn't you
man,
always
I gotta
use that?
stock up on some overpressure.
Well, that was my only bag of overpressure. Gotta go to use under pressure now. Oh man, it didn't even dent the door.
The track around was over pressure, but everything else was under pressure.
Yeah.
But you're calling it a 2 out of 5?
Yeah. Like
Fair.
it's just one of those things. It's a good movie. I'd watch it once and probably wouldn't watch it again.
But you're not there for the metacritical analysis, are you?
Not really.
Which is fair.
I'm
And I
here to
don't
see
expect you to be.
robot people get blown to shreds.
And robot boobs.
Did it? Nah, I mean, they're good quality of boobs. We wouldn't have the metaphysical
On a scale of 1 to
breakdown.
10, where would you put the boobs?
You know? In all honesty, it was more focused on the people getting their heads blown up.
There's the ADHD shining.
Yep.
Anyway,
Special interest. All right,
That
Keaton.
and my Binding of Isaac run.
What?
Keaton,
that's
what's
true.
your rating for the film?
Let me think. 5 big booms. 4 big booms.
4 big
It was
booms.
good. Probably better than Blade Runner. Good movie. Good
Okay.
animation. Good music. I think. Yeah, it was Cool.
Um,
You know,
you know,
I like movies. Do you like movies?
I like movies.
I like movies too.
That's awesome.
I think Keaton's been high this whole
I
episode.
think Keaton's been high.
Hmm?
Just the way you're talking.
No.
No. So, I guess on to me. I really liked this movie. By the way, we're currently 12 points ahead of the Pacers. I think, like I said,
How
I
long's
think,
on the clock?
for what do you mean, for the episode? Or how long is on the
No,
clock for
for
the game? We
the
got 3
game.
minutes left, but that means we're gonna drag it out for 10 more minutes.
Yep.
That if only.
If only.
Well, this is a 13 point. Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, if it's 3 minutes.
all I know
Oh
at this
no,
point is
nope, we're ahead by 13 now. Yeah,
all I know is that at some point in time, one of these cities is burning down.
yeah. And I think it's gonna be both of them simultaneously. No, I like this movie a lot. Like I think
We're gonna, as soon as the game ends, we're gonna hear a earth-shattering boom.
We're
in the
gonna look
background raising
outside and there will be a
microphones.
nice orange fucking you won't hear shit. But there'll be a
No,
nice
I said
orange
in your
dome
gut,
forming
the
over
background.
the city and a mushroom cloud will be rising slowly.
I see your red door and I
so.
want it.
I I like the To the Moon games like a lot, and because of that, and I've known about them since for a while, so I've always had the existential dread of like, what if my memories got reset? Like amnesia is essentially dying, right? I give this four and a half
Shit, I get
stars.
Carter. I get to play DS 1 through 3 again for the first time.
Yeah,
I get to
congratulations.
play Return of the Obra Dinn again. Yay!
Someone shoot him.
Uh,
Make sure that doesn't happen.
so yeah, I give this four and a half stars on Letterboxd. And I've always liked the idea of like what your memories are, what make you a person, the way that you are, whatever, blah 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 blah. And I've always thought that was neat. So having a movie where the whole thing of it is, not only is the fact that the major is a tool for the government, but also how much of what she remembers is real or not or whatever. The guy that gets his
Whether anything she remembers
is
at
real.
all is even her memory
Yeah,
was another thing
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
they illustrate that there's a very real chance that she's just told things that never actually even happened.
Yeah, that's
Or that
terrifying.
happened to someone else
Like,
instead of her.
that fucking Don Hertzfeldt short film where he's talking about how the human memory and how about like maybe 60% of your early memories are fabricated and none of them really
Right.
happened. Like that little story that he tells about like the two girls who were arguing about who got kissed by Elvis or whatever, and then he's like they argued about it, and then he found out years later that the story was that they actually knew exactly who it was, and that he misremembered the story despite being remembered
Right.
clearly that his mom told him what it was, and
Right.
shit like that. Like that's horrifying, right? Like imagine just like you have like a formative memory and it never happened. Um, so having a movie that
No, the
explores that
entire
is really
concept of
crazy.
core memories that people have that could just not be is fucking terrifying.
Imagine like being in like the fucking what am I trying to say? The like inside out emotions. And you like look, it's a core memory. You look at it, and it's something that physically cannot happen. You're like, oh no. Like
My
Don
dad
Hertz.
was levitating.
Yeah. Like Don Hertzfeldt's like memory that like he was like floating as like a 10-year-old. He goes, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen, but who knows?
You
Um,
never knew.
No, I like this movie a lot. It was very pretty. It's very well made. I like all the stupid little like pretentious symbolism that it did all the time, like the mannequin shot and like the one where it's like where they're fighting in that church and like or it's not what is it? It's like a museum really, and
Yeah.
they fucking fire up this like wall that has a bunch of different species on it, and it ends with hominus, man being above everything else, and it's whoa, isn't that cool? Blah 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 blah. It's pretentious, but it's really fun to look at. You're like, oh damn, I get it.
I mean,
Um,
it's pretentious, but it also is telling him the point that the movie is about philosophy and not
yeah,
about what's happening
exactly,
on screen.
exactly. Um, anyway, uh, let's spin the wheel. It's spinning.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Ladnie just has index cards and he reads off the index card who it's gonna be.
Connor wins the spin again.
No, I
Two
did one
times.
last time. It
All
was
right, hold
gifted to
Connor.
me,
on.
remember? I
That
had a donation.
Yeah.
no, we gifted it. Oh, that's true.
We
Anyway,
need.
Didn't want to pick.
I'd like to make a proposition. See if we could take a 4-way vote on this if we want to do it.
Okay.
I will sacrifice my next 4 votes if all of you.
Keep in mind, there's a very real chance that you never get a vote again because there's an at minimum, since there have been at least 3 of us per. There's a 33% chance each time that the podcast even gets a show associated with it and then happens. And that doesn't factor that if we have like 12 people on, we have 12 people on the spin. But go ahead.
Yeah.
In the improbability you ever get 4 votes again, please continue.
We gotta watch Speed Racer.
I don't know that I make that deal.
You
Would
make
you make
that deal?
I'd make that. I'd make
I'll
that
make
deal.
that deal. Damn fine deal. Well, it's
Ladnie
Connor's
and I are
pick.
talking about one.
I'm not quite certain that I want to do Speed Racer. I do want to do it at some point on the show.
Yeah. I like Connor pick. It's his pick.
Or do I give it to Keaton?
What?
Okay, hold on.
Prepare-
I have
I'm
a
not in
slightly
the right
different-
frame of mind to be picking the movie right now.
I have a slightly different
What happened at
idea.
work, Keaton?
Get his
Huh?
memory wiped.
Got his
Yeah.
memory right?
I got my memory wiped. I don't know
Let me
who
go
I
to
am or who you
Wheel
people are.
of Names.
You walked. Oh
Wheel
no, we're doing the
of
list.
And we're doing the list.
We're doing the list.
Oh,
should-
dear
I should
Lord.
put list as one of the candidates on the wheel. Every
That
time I
would be
spin it.
terrifying. Is the
Shit,
one-
actually, if you want to respin it, no, we should
Yeah,
start
put-
incorporating it
put
though
the
with
list
the list
down.
on.
Because we still have all those Adam Sandler movies to get through.
Oh
to
shit,
get
hold on.
ideas.
This isn't accurate anymore. We've watched Kiki's Delivery Service.
Oh yeah,
Hold
that's
on.
true.
Which is on there. Give me 2 seconds to remove it.
55 seconds left.
That was such a nice movie. I enjoyed that. Where the fuck is it? Hold on. Key. There it is. Control C. How do you strike through again? What's the shortcut?
I don't know. Just do it on the format.
That takes way
There
too
is
much
1
effort.
minute left to go. We have a 14-point lead.
I mean,
Then
10.
hold on. Let me just slowly remember how to use
No, it's
Google
14.
Docs. Is it text? Yeah. Alt Shift 5. That's not happening. Okay. Actually, I have a much simpler question. Caleeb, how much do I love you?
Oh.
How much do I appreciate you?
Well, I
Because
mean, we made the proposal joke earlier because we both had
You're
the
already
same.
married.
this is
concept of
true,
the-
but
So.
I
Is
kind
this
of want to
is this
say
a good is
a
this a
certain
good marriage or are we like
Hold on,
already
I
thinking
can't
about
hear you
divorce?
over the wheel of names being deafeningly fucking loud. I forgot that I turned up the music all the way.
Is he just blasting like the do 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 do?
Oh, I forgot how slow the fucking graphic was for this.
Oh yeah, it takes
It's been
ages.
spinning for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, it fucking sucks.
It slowed down. I was like, oh, I guess we're gonna watch Ungentlemanly Warfare, and then it just kept spinning.
Dude, Ungentlemanly Warfare. I think you guys would like it. If you watched Bullet Train,
No.
I know that was one we put on the list. It's a lot like
I
that.
think we've all watched
it's,
it individually.
It's pretty solid.
I didn't know if I want to watch this movie, but the wheel has spoken. The next movie is The Dead Poets Society.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I have no clue what that is.
Dr.
Besides-
Dr. Wilson kills himself.
Ah, lovely. I mean,
Spoiler alert.
Oh, Captain, my
Yeah.
cap.
Carpe diem.
anyways, what was the conversation of how much do you love me? What was that for?
I was gonna say Stalker, which is a movie you would not
Oh,
enjoy
Yeah,
in the
Khalid.
slightest.
Khalid would spend the entire movie making fun of it.
Yes.
Wait, what is Stalker? Once I'm
Stalker.
gonna go look this up.
Great movie.
It's a phenomenal movie. It's where a lot of the Stalker games, I imagine.
Yeah.
It's where they get a lot of, not the movie, but it's the same story as the game.
What would I just be making fun of?
The fact that it's 2.5 hours long is not silent, but is often near silent, and
Oh,
supposed to
oh,
just
you
sit
mean
there
the
and
sense
go.
of there's nothing to fill the void, so I would just be. Yeah, you're
Ye-
right.
Yeah,
yes,
you'd be yakking the whole time.
it is not a movie you would enjoy.
Nope, Ladnie's dead.
Wait, what?
I was curious when my
Yay!
ears left me for a
All
second.
right, Connor,
there.
open
We
your
did
window. See
it!
if the bombs have gone off yet.
Basketball! We did it! We did it! I'm gonna stop the episode. Basketball!
Before this, Laddie didn't
Basketball.
know the rules of basketball.
That's true.